What you doing? I'm the scene. This is Otaku News Reviews. This time I'm talking about Demon Slayer Kimetsunoyaiba, The Flowers of Happiness, written by ayayajima, of course, from the original Demon Slayer author koyoharugotouge. It was published in English by vizmedia's Shonenjump on October 25th, 2022. It consists of 5 stories and 2 afterwards. Kind of important because there's only 173 pages in total. And to be honest, just like a real quick spoiler free review recap, not too crazy about them. They're very light, very just quick to the point. Not even really to the point. They almost don't seem to have a point because they're so quick and small. But I'm glad they exist. They're a nice, even though brief, small, a nice little look at more of this Demon Slayer world, whatever that would be. Now, the first story is called The Flower of Happiness, and that's like the title of the collection. It's only 46 pages. This is actually the longest one, and somehow yet the shortest, the least happening one, however you would want to call it. It takes place during the first day with Hisa. It says 10 days after their fight with the drum demon. The 3 are invited to someone's Toyo's wedding, and then afterward, 2 little girls, Akane and Akiri, tell them about something called the Vine Lantern. Now, this is a flower that brings true love and marriage on a new moon into purple, which I wasn't sure exactly what it meant. It's just something to bring. Like, these 2 little girls aren't exactly sure what they're talking about. Even everything they're thinking is more riddle-esque, but in purple, I think royalty, because that's kind of the color of royalty, what people think of it as. So then Tanjiro saves this like Inosuke-like boar, which eventually leads into a flower. Turns out the girls' drawings sucked, but they ended up being right as far as what they were telling Tanjiro. He brings this flower back to Nezuko, who ends up not wanting it because she can make her own happiness. Flashbacks to them being kids, stuff like that. Eventually, Nezuko says it's the wrong flower. That's it. That's all there is to the story. It doesn't say anything else besides Tanjiro saves the boar, and it leads it to her. There's nothing else in between. But yeah, so it's he might be able to see my slight frustration with some of this. The other weird thing is because this is written out instead of a manga, it's actual book. The visualization with the words makes me see the characters differently. It makes Inosuke seem super forgetful and somehow less chaotic, and Zenitsu's just really creepy. They keep really hammering that in, and then Tanjiro is a lot more sister lovey, a lot more of a sister complex. It's kind of weird, but it's really only this story. It backs off a lot for the rest of the stories, which we'll move on to now. Chapter 2 is For Whom. It's 24 pages, the shortest one of them, if I remember correctly. Really short. Somehow has more than the last one. This one takes place in Shinobu's mansion. Zenitsu has permission to stroll around with Nezuko, which is weird. You never really see anything like that in the manga anime. So it's weird in this story that it's just only like that. You really don't get to see them like one-on-one alone time at all. So I don't know, this story is just kind of weird, especially for it being this early kind of in the series. Zenitsu sees a yellow flower, has a flashback to when he met some girl named Sayuri, whose stepdad bargained her to some demon to save his own life because of course shitty parenting. Zenitsu has to disguise himself as a girl to face the demon, but eventually being freaked out, kills the demon without knowing because he's going unconscious thing, and then he thanks this his master Jigoro. He returns to Sayuri with the yellow flower, but that she already had a guy. Zenitsu seems to think he interprets everything weird, like Sayuri's feelings, and like Jigoro saying he's strong. He's just so down on himself, and he doesn't really blame it on Sayuri like you think would a lot of guys do. Like he kind of thinks about it, but he's like, "Oh no, this was just me interpreting wrong." He's like, "Oh, poor Zenitsu," and that's all there is. That's it. It's shorter, much shorter than the last one, almost half the length, and yet it had more meat to it. Chapter 3 is Chronicle of a Fortune-Telling Fuss. This one's 32 pages, somewhere in between. This one's more funny and just focused more on Zenitsu. He gets a lot of attention in these collections, which is nice because I really like Zenitsu. I don't feel like he as like really fulfilled his potential in the whole series. Whatever. So there's some old woman that says Zenitsu would die because of a woman that day. And just when Tanjiro said fortune tellers can't always be right, a voice says there is some woman with white hair, lavender kimono at a crossroads. Ooh. And Inosuke says that's of course impossible because the girl wouldn't be able to fall for Zenitsu anyways. And then Tanjiro agrees, kind of. Oh, it's so sad. And then the order cheers Zenitsu up. Tanjiro accidentally takes him to a cafe just full of women. Of course, Zenitsu's freaking out. And just a little side note I managed to put down. They have something called ice cream. It's spelled AISCREEM. I was like, oh, it's ice cream. Okay, that's interesting way to translate that. I wonder how they put that in Japanese. This is just a whole side tangent. Because like it's obvious ice cream. But did the Japanese also use some kind of weird thing? I don't know if it's a translation thing or just something kind of a world building kind of immersion thing. I don't know. So there's a waitress named Sari that tells it was just some fake fortune teller, but by this point Zenitsu has already fled, and they go after him, but because of all the perfume, it confuses Tanjiro's nose, which is supposed to be so great. Weird that perfume would confuse it, but I guess he's not used to it. I don't know. I don't remember anything similar happening in the main series, so I'm not sure. Anyways, Zenitsu ends up having to save Saya from a horse, and then Natsuko catches fake fortune teller. That's it. Oh, here's a little note I have for myself. All of these stories have illustrations and stuff for this one. They're just cute little illustrations or whatever. Just a nice little scene. But yeah, for some reason this one didn't have one. Next one, chapter 4. The next story is aoiandkanao. It's 36 pages, a little bit more than the last one. This one's probably actually my favorite because it doesn't focus on any other main ones. We finally get a little bit of story of the other characters we see, but just get no real interaction with, especially with Aoi, who I forget she's a character until I see her again. Sad because, well, there's not much to her in the main series, but in this one she gets a little bit of attention, I guess. This is during the time that Tanjiro and the rest of them are in entertainment district mission, which is kind of funny and sad at the whole time, knowing what's happening there with them. And this whole time, these two are going shopping for Shinobu, and they forget their wallets. Man, the problems between these two. And there is like some guilt that I was feeling because she was about to get dragged away, and others were about to get dragged away to the entertainment district. Good thing they didn't, and that the other three went instead, because now they know what happens. Woo! They got off big time. But they forget their wallets. They're not able to get the things. Some woman leads them to a sumo eating contest, and something goes wrong with one of them, and then they're able to save them. And as a reward, they give them a lot of rice and sake for saving them. Then they find a family with a lot of gambling trouble because of that, of course. They give them the rice instead, and then they get a pinwheel as you turn, which, it's like how there's this poor family struggling. It's like, why would you take something that they could have made more money off of? And it's like, okay, well, people are proud and they don't want to just get some things, and they want to give back at least a little. So this pinwheel's nice. Always hesitance, Kano, it just takes it, and it's nice feeling, because not taking it would be looking down on them even more. So they wanted to borrow some money from Love Hishira, but she wasn't there, so instead they get free tea. And then later it turns out Kim has changed his mind. That's because his mother was the one that brought them to the eating contest. And all well that ends well, I guess. And that's it. And there's not much to it, but it is that like big difference between what's happening with these two, what's happening with the rest of the entertainment district. And it's like, also just getting more backstory. And I'm always seeing this other side of Kano, and like also seeing how Tanjiro affected both of them and how they're both changing because of him. It's kind of nice. It's It was really sweet. So the last one, chapter 5, is Junior High and High School Tales of Kimetsu Academy. It's 26 pages, second shortest one. There's not a whole lot of like interesting things that happen. What it is, of course, all of them are playing like high school students, junior high school students. I guess high school. It doesn't really say what they are in, but the title suggests both. I'm going to assume they're in high school because some of them are high schoolers or students, some of them are teachers, whatever. Anyways, so this one focuses on Zenitsu again. He wants to quit the discipline committee because he was kind of just forced into it, but he has to tell Tomioka. So he tries to get help from Rigoku, but he only cares about making bento, so that's no help. The Shinobu encourages to stay and just learn how to deal with Tomioka, but it didn't work. Yeah, that's all there is to this one. It's either this one or the first one is my least favorite. This one had a little bit more to it. Like I said it real quick, and that is all. But it was like a little more humorous, a little more stuff. It turns out Shinobu had some other kind of deal with Tomioka, and that's why. But the story is kind of dumb, and like story-wise, the first one was better. Even though it was longer, I don't know. It's weird. All these stories are too short. I don't know if that's translations, but I don't know if like. I hate to say it, Ayayajima was kind of just really brief and light on content and writing these stories. I don't know, like the whole thing, the whole book, less than 200 pages. I don't know. I like it. I like these stories. I like short stories, even though they're short, but there's not much to it. I guess I just wanted more. I don't know. Especially since I finished reading the Demon Slayer manga a while ago, waiting for the next anime arc. So I don't know. I think it was more me just getting my hopes up more than I needed to. Who knows? The two afterwards just says that Gotoge did the illustrations, so it was nice. Like I said, all but the third one had them. And talking about pushing glasses too far down, I take notes and then don't remember what the notes are supposed to mean. And then I just talked about how much you love the series and the people and just thanking them that also helped and where the original stories come from. Indicate that written during the series and it was still going before the anime. So kind of this was published in 2019 in Japan. So it's been 3 years since these stories even originally came out. It kind of gives the time when these come in. There's a second volume going to be coming out too, so we'll see when those short stories were written, if they're written along with these and they just separated them in half, if these are much later. I'm looking forward to see if there's going to be any difference with them. I feel like they probably were just all written around the same time and they have all the same tone and style as these. I hope there's just more to them. That's all I really care about. But let me know what you thought. That's all I really had to say about this. There's not much. I kind of could just fly through it. There's would be more just rambling and ranting if I didn't stop myself, and it'd be less about the story, just me, more of my thoughts of how I like to enjoy reading. But yeah, let me know what you thought. Which of these stories was your favorite? If you're looking forward to the next one, if you're looking forward to more Demon Slayer content in general, we can talk about all that stuff. And if you do, you can tell me whatever you want. You can like this, and you can leave comments if you want, if you can, or you can email me at dacstories@gmail.com. Yeah, if you're not subscribed and you want to, go ahead and subscribe to this, follow it, whatever you want to do. That way you can see more of the things I review. You can follow me on other social medias too. Chat with me there. Just see all the things I'm doing and what I'm up to, which is a lot of stuff. It's DAC Stories all over those things too, But yeah, you can also join my Discord. There's plenty that I can talk about there too. I can use it like another social media. If anything, I keep up more stuff on there too. Small, very small, not as active community, but that can change. You know what I'm saying? But that is all for me for this review of Demon Slayer: The Flowers of Happiness. Yeah. Until next time, I'm the AC. Thank you so much, and bye.